In 1973, CIA Director James Schlesinger issued an internal order. Identify any activities that may have exceeded the agency's legal authority. What came back was not a single report, it was a collection, hundreds of pages, a record of operations, programs, and actions carried out over years, many of them never intended to be public. These became known as the family jewels. The documents themselves were compiled internally in 1973, but they remained classified until 2007, when the CIA declassified and released approximately 700 pages of material. Inside those files are specific programs, named, described. One of the most significant, Operation Chaos, a domestic intelligence program active during the 1960s and early 1970s. Its purpose was to monitor anti-war groups and political activists within the United States. The CIA was not legally authorized to conduct domestic surveillance in that way, yet the program compiled files on thousands of US citizens. Another set of activities involved mail interception programs. Programs such as HT Lingle opened and photographed mail entering and leaving the United States. This included correspondence involving American citizens. The scale was not minor. Over time, large volumes of mail were examined and recorded. The files also reference surveillance of journalists and monitoring of individuals inside the United States. In some cases, physical surveillance. In others, records compiled without the individual's knowledge. There are also entries related to assassination plots involving foreign leaders. Among those referenced, Fidel Castro of Cuba. Plans discussed or attempted included indirect methods, intermediaries, and cooperation with external groups. These activities were not presented as successful outcomes, but as recorded operations or proposals that have been considered or pursued. The files also reference experimental programs, most widely associated with MKUltra. These included research into behavioral control, drug testing, and interrogation methods. Some of these experiments involved individuals who were not fully informed of the nature of the testing. The documents also include references to detention and interrogation practices, covert entries, unauthorized break-ins, use of surveillance technologies within the United States, all recorded internally, not as accusations from outside, but as entries compiled by the agency itself. That context matters. This internal review took place during a period of increasing scrutiny of US intelligence activities. The Watergate scandal was unfolding. Questions about government power were growing. And within that environment, the CIA documented its own activities before broader public investigations would follow, including the Church Committee hearings in the mid-1970s. When the files were finally released decades later, they did not introduce entirely unknown ideas, but they provided direct internal acknowledgement of actions that had previously been denied, disputed, or only partially understood. What remains is not a single conclusion, but a documented record, programs with names, operations with defined scope, activities that crossed into areas the agency was not originally designed to operate within, and all of it compiled in one place before it was ever made public. Because the family jewels are not a theory, they are a record, and the question they leave is not whether these activities were written down, but what it means that they were written down before anyone outside the agency required them to be.